Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this session on the flipped classroom. My name is Amanda Uton, and I teach high school science at Chaminade Julian Catholic High School right here in Dayton, Ohio. This will be my fourth year at CJ, and I'm also the science department co-chair. I'm also on the technology committee, which is something I'm really passionate about, and technology has a lot to do with the flipped classroom. So the way that these two sessions are going to work, the flipped classroom and project-based learning, is you're going to watch this video and then explore some of the resources I've posted on the MEC website. And then on Wednesday night, during dinner and after dinner, we're going to get together in person and share what we've learned and just sort of brainstorm ideas of how we can bring these two ideas back into your own classrooms. So first, the basics. Some of you might already know about the flipped classrooms. Maybe some of you are fellow flippers, but maybe some of you don't. So what is a flipped classroom? Basically, it's a very simple model, and that's all it is. It's an adaptable model where the teacher creates or posts some sort of video that contains the content for that topic. You might consider it somewhat of a video lecture and assigns that video for students to watch as homework. So at night or over the weekend, the students are going to watch these videos and maybe even take notes on them. I have my students take notes on the videos that I make. So what this does is that it frees up class time to be spent doing activities and labs and group work and critical thinking exercises instead of wasting that valuable one-on-one class time doing lectures and note-taking and just that boring stuff that you remember from school. I can tell you that I truly have not spent more than maybe 10 minutes doing direct instruction in my classes each day, if that. So it has been really freeing for me as a teacher to be able to do more activities and labs and group work. Again, this is highly adaptable. I will share with you how I've adapted it for my purposes, but you have to start thinking about how you're going to make this model of video at home and activity during the day, how you're going to make it your own. So a little bit about my story. Last year, I guess not this past year, but the year before, I taught all levels of high school biology. And those of you who are science teachers, you know that content, there's so much content and standards to get through. Now that really drove my course. Every day I was thinking, how can I get through all of this material? So as you can imagine, it was notes. I just really stood up there for at least half the class every day, and I would give notes, and that left a little bit of time at the end for questions and for maybe a short activity to have the students actually apply the concepts they had just learned during that session of note-taking. So it was just this constant rush, right? And maybe some of you kind of know what I'm talking about. And then I would assign homework just about every single night for them to practice that concept that we had just learned during that note time. And as you can imagine, some students did the homework every night, and a lot of students, some students didn't do the homework every night. So this became just such a burden for me to grade and collect and deal with, and how am I going to deal with all these missing assignments, and it's lowering these students' grades. The students weren't enjoying it. They was basically just wrote worksheets that they were doing, and not only that, class time was not enjoyable because they were just bored with taking notes. And I was burnt out because I was rushing around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get all the notes in, trying to get the activity in, trying to go over the homework, trying to do 15 million different things in a 50-minute time period. So I was just burnt out. So last summer, it was time to do a lot of reflecting about who I was as a teacher and what my classroom should look like. So here are some things that I came up with. I wanted to shift the focus away from the content and back to the student. So my motto became, I want to put the learning back into the students' hands. I want them to be in control of the learning. But the question was, how am I going to do this? And to this day, I don't know how I came across this, but the answer for me was the flipped classroom. And I don't remember how I first learned about this, but this has been really a lifesaver for me in my classroom. So what does my classroom look like now? Students watch one video a week, and again, this is just how I have decided to do it. Usually they do this over a weekend. It's 15 minutes in length. That's actually the maximum that YouTube will allow you to upload, and it's going to cover all the content for that week. So basically for me, I have a lot of pre-planning that goes into any one chapter, because I have to know for that week what exactly am I going to cover, and that's what I put in the video. The students take video notes on it, so they can stop, pause, rewatch the video, and then they come to class with their video notes in hand. We start each day with a mini quiz. It could be over the video, it could be over what we did in class the day before, but basically this is to keep them accountable, and based on student feedback, they actually love the mini quizzes because they feel like it keeps them accountable to go back through their notes every night. We briefly discuss any questions they might have over the video notes before we do the activity or the exercise. Over difficult material like DNA replication or transcription and translation, I will do direct instruction. I just think that is the best way to learn those difficult topics. The rest of class time is spent with their small groups, which is a small group of 4 students, and it changes about every quarter or every other month. And they will do a critical thinking exercise, maybe write an essay, definitely a lot more inquiry-based labs this year, problem solving. It's real world things that they can really dig their teeth into. And I just really, really enjoy that time where they're collaborating with each other, they're talking to each other. And then what happens is all of these exercises and labs go into their one portfolio for that chapter. And I can go up to any one student and say, let me see your portfolio and what have you worked on and what do you still need to do? And then I collect that portfolio one time at the end of the chapter on the day they take their chapter test. Also in that portfolio, I have them write a chapter reflection of how they learned the material. The first couple weeks, all the students told me what they learned, and I said, I know what you learned. I was the one who organized what you learned. I want to know how you learned it, trying to get them to think metacognitively how they are learning. And so that has been a really helpful feedback for me about what's been working in my classroom for them and what's not been working. So my reflections now that I've done 1 year of the flipped classroom, I love that I can personally connect with each individual student every day, because as they're working in their small groups, I'm walking around the room on my feet, just loving going to every single group, every single student, and asking them questions, helping them. So I can ask challenging questions to those students who are advanced and who really get the material, or I can give remedial help to struggling students. I really have noticed over the past year that student achievement, student interest, self-motivation is really a lot higher than last year. They have taken responsibility. They are motivated for their own learning. They are responsible. There's no more rushing. So at the end of the day, I'm not tired. I don't want to go home and take a nap. I don't feel like I have to get through everything. There's a set thing that they have to get done in their portfolio, and they work at their own pace. With me as their guide as they're doing that. And so what happens is that my passion for the subject now is more easily shining through because I'm not rushing. And so I really enjoy that. This is an infographic that I will post on the MEC website about what the flipped classroom is. Maybe you want to share this with your principal or with other teachers at your school. But it basically summarizes everything that I've been talking about. And so I'll highlight a few things, but I don't want to waste too much time. So the traditional classroom, remember that old saying, the sage on the stage. Lecture today, reading and questions due as homework. What the flipped classroom does is it turns it upside down. So the teacher's role is the guide on the side. I like to think of it as like a mentor on their learning journey, sort of helping them along. And also their peers are their helpers too, because there's a lot of communication and collaboration between the students themselves in their small groups. So the flipped classroom activity today, and then you watch the lecture online at night. So the theoretical framework is based on 2 things: the technology, the videos, and then the activities that are done during the day. And so this influences a more positive learning environment. So what's been driving it? Well, poor learning outcomes, poor student engagement, and the prevalence of online video. We have to meet our students where they are at, and they are digitally native. They love watching YouTube videos. They love doing games online. They're always online. So having their teacher talk to them online is just totally natural and normal for them. Now, this is a little example of a different high school and who's doing a flipped classroom, and they do it a little bit differently. 3 videos a week, much shorter than the videos I make, but yet the class time is still spent doing labs and interactive activities. That's the key part, is what are you doing during class time? So during class time, students receive instant feedback from me. They don't get as frustrated because I'm there to help them with the homework or the activity, instead of them doing it at home and not having anybody at home to help them. So teachers support students in class, and what this really leads to is scaffolding of learning. So the video is the first time they see the content, and then we can scaffold and build on that in class. Okay, it's not about the videos. Whenever somebody talks about the flipped classroom, you might think, oh my God, it's all about the videos. It's not about the videos. It's about rethinking our role as teacher and their role as learner. So again, moving from sage on the stage to guide on the side. It's how a teacher utilizes that newfound class time so you can better serve each individual student. You can allow the student to now construct their own knowledge with their classmates as a sounding board instead of the teacher telling them what the knowledge is. So in class time, they're really sort of feeling everything out. They're constructing their own knowledge. The flipped class is how we get to this 21st century of learner-centered, inquiry-driven, problem-based learning. The flipped classroom is really, for me, it's that transitional piece of how I'm going to get to this new inquiry-driven classroom. I'll come back to this if I have time. So you might be asking how to make the videos. First, I rarely recommend that you consider using videos that are already out there. On the MEC website, I have posted many resources for you to explore with videos already made. If you do want to make your own videos, go slowly. Don't overwhelm yourself. You'll get burned out, and that's not the idea here. There are multiple pieces of software you can use. I highly recommend, if you try to do this today in the computer lab, go to screencast-o-matic.com. It's free. It's really easy to use. ScreenFlow costs some money. That's what I'm using for this video right now. Camtasia, and there are many others. Publish to YouTube. For me, that's what I have found to be the simplest way for everybody to have access. And lastly, network with other people. Get on Twitter, get on forums online, talk to other people in your community who are doing this. The more support you have in doing this, the better you're going to feel about doing it. Okay, some helpful hints when making videos. Keep them under 15 minutes. The shorter, the better. Students' attention spans are not that long. Show your face on the screen. I know you might be really timid about doing this, but the students really need to see that it's their teacher there. It's their face. You're using the same expressions in the video and the same phrases that you would use in the class. Watch your copyright laws. You'll notice on my YouTube site, I don't have a lot of videos on there because I had to take them all down because I was using my textbook PowerPoint and I had not asked for permission to do that. So I got a little bit of hot water, but I'm remaking all my videos this summer. So watch how to do that on YouTube. There's a YouTube copyright school that you'll want to go through. It takes about 10 minutes. Keep the videos lively. Be energetic. Be full of expression, sort of like I'm trying to do in this video. That will help your student engagement. I started to embed short assignments into the video, like copy this chart or answer this question. So that sort of kick-started discussion the next day in class. And once you get used to using this software, have your students make videos. So assign them a topic and then have them make a video that's going to teach the class or maybe teach grade school students about a certain topic. They love making videos. So that's been a lot of fun for me. All right, what is your homework before Wednesday night? Explore this flipped classroom page that I've created for you. Watch videos, visit the websites, read the articles. Now this is the big one. Either find or maybe even create a video centered upon a topic that you already teach. Just sort of get your feet wet. Use that Screencast-O-Matic software. Think about how your flipped classroom will look and how it's going to work day to day. Remember, it's adaptable. How many videos are you going to make? What are you going to do with your class time? Are you going to use portfolios like I do? Are you going to do something else? So just start to brainstorm in your own mind. And then on Wednesday, we're going to come back during dinner and in a small group atmosphere and share our videos that we made or found, the activities we found, and our thoughts. So really, this whole session is sort of modeled after the flipped classroom. So right now you're watching a video, and then the dinner time is sort of like our in-class time where we're going to actually do an activity so that you actually can leave this session with something in hand. You're going to have a template of an activity in hand to take back to your classroom with you. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to seeing all of you on Wednesday.